Okay, we're going live tonight for SmackDown, the first night of the WWE Draft. Because now after Backlash, the draft thing is not going into effect until after Backlash. So yeah. It was in Corporate Crispy, Texas, and it was actually a fun show. Some picks I'm like, yeah. Some picks I'm like, ugh. So yeah. So the WWE Draft, well, that makes sense. Yeah, but some these picks, I'm like, yeah. Like one, I'm like, we'll get to that. So they highlight the main event will be the Brian Bradshaw. SmackDown wasn't that bad. Thank God. I'm not gonna tell you until the picks yet. Anyway, so they have some Hall of Famers. First, Triple H, which we already know he's the one who came up with who told about the draft. He said that 50% of the roster will be drafted tonight, and 50% of the roster will be drafted on Monday night. So, okay. Also, I had 105 subscribers, and I finally did 2010 finally. So, 2011 will be next. But anyways, we'll get back to that. Select NXT Superstar we drafted also, and then May 8th after Backlash. So, yeah. So, Triple H has the first round of picks. It was nice to see RVD. We'll get to him. So, Triple H asks Corporate Crispy, are you ready? So he picks, the first pick for SmackDown was Roman Reigns and Solo Sikoa. So surprisingly, the whole bloodline wasn't drafted to SmackDown. With Roman's like, we've seen this before. He was being drafted to SmackDown again. I was like, here we go again. But the next pick for Raw's first pick was Cody Rhodes. And I was like, ugh. So much for Cody Rhodes dethroning Roman Reigns. So yeah. I am hearing a rumor that they may make a trios championship titles. No, there's not enough trios, first off. Then this one I was like, huh? SmackDown gets Raw's Women's Champion Bianca Belair. And I'm like, is the Judgment going to go to Raw next and they're going to have that dumb title swap after Backlash? And then the last pick of Raw is Becky Lynch. I was like, But I think they're going to have Charlotte stay on SmackDown, perhaps. So yeah, that was the first 4 picks. I was like, could have been better. Like, they should have put Roman on Raw instead and whatever. Anyways, then the Usos came out and said they'll make Roman proud and basically blah, blah, blah. And yeah. And then Sami and Kevin came out and yeah, that set up the main event basically. She might not even be involved because she is taking time out. But perhaps they might put her back, stay on SmackDown because she's there in the graphic for before this. I wish she was still SmackDown with championship still. Anyways. So we get, the doors of Raw and SmackDown showing, and yeah, we already know. So we get Butch, not the cat from Tom and Jerry. The one for the Brawling Brutes, the former Pete Dunne, basically. Versus LA Knight in a very good match. So LA won. He's actually got me interested in him. He had that fun pitch black match at the Royal Rumble. Laughing emojis. So yeah, good match. 3.5 out of 5. Good. And then basically the Usos are getting fired up, and then Paul Heyman talk about, what we know about Roman. And then the second half of the round picks is another 2 Hall of Famers. Rob Van Dam, which it's nice to see RVD, but he was holding the card upside down. Yeah, he was on something. and Michael Hayes from the Freebirds. So yeah, they were the first two pick. So anyways, so we get to the second round picks. So the first pick of the second round for SmackDown is, I kind of expect the Street Profits, and they did. Because Bianca got drafted to SmackDown because who she married to? Montez Ford of the Street Profits. Tell him it's not 420. Yeah. Raw's first pick of the second round is Imperium. So the Intercontinental Champion is going back to Raw. Okay, fine. Although that was spoiled in 2K23's My Rise mode with the Lock storyline where Sami Zayn was the Intercontinental Champion on Raw, basically. SmackDown's second pick, Edge. I was like, yes, Edge is back on SmackDown. That made me happy. Not happy as the next round we'll get to. And the last pick for the second round is, for Raw, is Matt Riddle. Enough said. Speaking of the Street Profits, they fought Big Boy Braun and Ricochet and the LWO. I know you were happy. We'll get to the next one. Brian Bradshaw, you say Edge is back on SmackDown. So that's good. Fun triple threat tag team match. And the Street Profits won because the Street Profits won because they're back on SmackDown, basically. I'm just hoping that WWE to split the tag titles up. Then another set of picks and another pair of Hall of Famers. JBL for the SmackDown side and Raw. They have Teddy Long doing the Raw picks. Although Teddy Long was mostly the SmackDown general manager for most of the Ruthless Aggression era, but whatever. Now we get the next few picks. So JBL announced the first pick of the third round for the WWE Draft. Bobby Lashley. I'm happy for that. Teddy Long should have done the SmackDown picks. Although Teddy Long and JBL were part of SmackDown during the Ruthless Aggression era because JBL was the longest reigning WWE champion and Teddy Long was the GM of SmackDown. But that's fine by me. Raw picks Drew McIntyre. I hadn't seen him since WrestleMania, but that's fine because I wish Drew should have done better on SmackDown. Then we get the next pick. I thought he quit. I don't think he did. Then we get the next pick, and this made me happier. SmackDown selects, I'll get to the last name at the end, Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson, me and him, and AJ Styles. I was like, yes! That made me happier. And then Raw picks The Miz. I was like, okay, fine. The Miz, it's just nothing anymore. Yes! That made me happier. I would love this with Roman Reigns versus Bobby Lashley for the WWE Championship. I'd rather want to see AJ Styles versus Roman Reigns instead. Yay. Because he's finally back on SmackDown. The house that he built. Not Roman Reigns. Then we get Selena Vega versus Selena Deville. This match didn't last long because yeah, Selena won by pinfall, but I didn't saw it because I was looking at my computer. Then Rhea came out and yeah, great chant again. Being mortal to fucking Selena Vega, who didn't do shit for years. Kevin Owens and Steve here are preparing backstage, and yeah. And then mostly the LWO stuff. And then, AJ Styles is back on SmackDown, and he actually showed up finally on SmackDown. And then they get interrupted by the Viking Raiders, and they beat up the Viking Raiders. Good. And then Shawn Michaels will give the SmackDown picks. Like with JBL, Shawn Michaels was mostly part of Raw during the brand split in the Ruthless Aggression era. Yeah, I said Ruthless Aggression era a lot because that's the era I grew up in. And Road Dogg will give the Raw picks. So the DX members are the last one to get the picks. So SmackDown gets Damage Control. And I'm like, oh, God. They got Bianca and now Damage Control. I was like, oh, great. This is going to continue on SmackDown. Not going to walk away from the screen. Basically. Shinsuke Nakamura to Raw. he done most on SmackDown. I'm not mad that he went to Raw. Maybe Bayley will beat Bianca for the belt. Well, it's Io Sky who's going to face Bianca at Backlash. And then we get the 2 NXT picks. Alba Fire and Isley down to SmackDown. They don't watch NXT, but yeah. And Indy Hartwell's going to Raw, so they got to relinquish the belts, apparently. That's kind of the only 2 NXT picks we got. And then the main event. Yeah, the draft will happen on Monday. And also, Karrion Kross attacks Shinsuke Nakamura. So they're going to set up that match next week, and yeah. Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn versus the Usos. I hope we split the tag house up next because we got the World Heavyweight Championship going to Raw. And the WWE Championship is going to SmackDown because the Universal title is retiring. Because that belt sucked. Basically a WrestleMania rematch. And this was an okay rematch. Solo Sikoa tries to interfere, but then Matt Riddle interrupts him, attacks him, basically. And Owens and Zayn retain. So there's that. Maybe they might put the Usos on Raw now. Who knows? Yeah. By the way, that's Sonya Deville. That's 1 out of 5, by the way. This match gets a 3.5 out of 5 again. So, SmackDown got a home run. I thought they got drafted. They didn't get drafted yet. That's on Monday, by the way. SmackDown, in my opinion, got a home run. Edge and AJ Styles are on SmackDown, although that feud last year was a big disappointment with Edge and AJ Styles. Bobby Lashley going back to SmackDown ever since his time in his first run. And unfortunately, Roman had to stay on SmackDown, but with the whole Fox thing, I don't understand why I had to put Bianca and Damage Control on the same brand. Like, they could just have Damage Control go to stay on Raw while they kept shitting on SmackDown, but I don't understand. So, yeah. And Michael Cole says, oh no, when Bayley got drafted back to SmackDown. That's kind of funny. So let me read up who got drafted again. Roman Reigns, Solo Sikoa, and for some reason, Paul Heyman. Bianca Belair. No Job Bianca, I rather refer to her as. The Street Profits, Edge, Bobby Lashley, the OC with AJ Styles coming back. Damage Control, Alba Fire, and IC Dawn, and yeah. Yeah, that's the SmackDown page. For Raw, Cody Rhodes, Becky Lynch, Imperium, Matt Riddle, Drew McIntyre, The Miz, Shinsuke Nakamura, and Indy Hartwell are on Raw now. Basically the draft at A-. So yeah, fun show. So Raw will be live also because I'm gonna have to take a break after doing that fucking year of 2010. 2011 will be in the summer, probably June. Who knows? But yeah, June. Anyways, like this, comment, subscribe, and bye. I'll be back for Raw Monday.